Hello, world. How are you? Yeah. Well, blundering Trump. Yeah. He has hoof and mouth disease, does he not? And here's some of the latest.
All right, it was another constitutionally questionable week for President Donald
Very
Trump.
questionable.
From not ruling out using military force to annex Greenland to saying that he's seriously considering running for a third term. Well, in a new interview,
Yeah. Yeah. What does a dictator do? Make sure that they never leave office. And, well, that's what Putin did. Xi Jinping. And now Trump. And oh, for heaven's sakes. And he's going to not rule out attacking a NATO ally while cozying up to Russia. You've got to be kidding me. I'm sorry. You've got to be kidding me. And the rest of this, you can hardly believe.
interview over the weekend, Trump said that there are methods for serving a third term and that he was not joking. Now, this all comes as Iran has rejected negotiations with the United States over their nuclear program. Christian Benavides has that story from Miami.
In a rebuke to a recent letter from President Trump, Iran's president has refused direct nuclear talks with the U.S. During his first term, Trump unilaterally pulled the U.S. out of Iran's 2018 nuclear deal that President Obama and other Western leaders helped put together. As President Trump wades into foreign policy around the world, there's more reaction to Vice President J.D. Vance's visit Friday to a U.S. military base in remote Greenland.
Greenland really matters for the security of the United States.
Mark Warner, the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, criticized President Trump for not ruling out using force to secure Greenland, which is a territory of NATO ally Denmark.
Legitimate interest in stronger ties with Greenland? Absolutely. The idea that we are going to threaten a military invasion against a population that, at least everything I've read, overwhelmingly, the people in Greenland don't want to become part of America.
And now a new CBS poll finds Americans evenly split on whether they approve or disapprove of the job President Trump is doing so far.
This, from the intermind communication perspective, this lack of empathy for even our allies is despicable. And look at it. They're America is evenly divided. I wonder about that. But evenly divided, total lack of empathy. It's empathy that binds people together. It helps us to meet human needs by applying, along with empathy, objective, creative, and compassionate expressions. And wow, here he is tearing apart our country. I'll leave a link to this full video. Unbelievable. Please leave your comments. Do you really think this is a good guy for the United States of America? And let's hear your pros and cons. But this guy is nowhere near empathetic. With empathy, we avoid wars and we bring people together. And people that are against the empathy that we need, these are people who are, well, they're greedy and power mongering, which are spiritual illnesses. That's power needs to be balanced. It needs to be be checked. And that's part of the philosophy of intermind communication. Too much power corrupts. That means even a perspective. You don't want just the one perspective dominating things. Compassionate, creative, or objective. You want them working together. That's the best way to meet human need and to help what I call the love flow. This guy is not for the love flow. That's the real economy. That's that's you want to save. There has to be a point to your efficiency and your salvation. If the point isn't helping everyone as much as we can, as a goal, then what is it? Efficiency in what sense? Efficiency meaning billionaires don't want to pay their fair share of taxes to the point that children are going without food. That the education system in these red states don't get enough federal funding, and they don't now. Wow. We really need to stand up, and we need to call our congressmen, no matter what party they're in, and tell them we're not going to stand for that. All the benefits, all of the people who desperately need federal help, uh, put them on a shoestring. Well, I see a lot of waste when I see people with way more than they could ever use or hope to use. That's waste. That's concentrations of power that are dangerous because you don't want business, church, state, or media having complete control. That's part of those are the perspectives of intermind communication in society. And business being at the core of it, yeah, that it needs to be educated and the power's balanced. If they're not balanced, we're in trouble. And right now we're headed toward total oligarchy in the hands of a few. Wealth, business taking over the government completely and striving to take over the media. Now that's very fascist when you get to that point, and then deciding what religion that you get to have. Christian. Well, what kind of Christian? How narrow are they going to be on that in that description? And a lot of people call themselves Christians, and they do not agree. Freedom of religion is a part of this country's tradition and heritage. Now, I don't agree with religious for the most part, unless they're practical and useful in terms of helping people be better people from the use of these empathetic forms, which help us with goodness and artfulness and truth. And that's the inner mind communication perspective on this situation. And I am I'm appalled at what's happening here in the United States. I mean, you expect to hear this from third world countries, desperate people with no education, but United States of America, this is unbelievable. Well, this is what you get when you don't apply a little objectivity, creativity, look at things from different perspectives, and compassion in how you vote. I mean, and as I've said before, if you see that there's the only choices you have that are reasonable are a lesser of evils, for heaven's sakes, it's even more important to vote for the lesser of evils, because if you don't, then that's a vote not cast for the lesser. That's a vote for the greater. So, consider that. You can't not vote and say that you're out of the voting process. By not voting, you're voting. You're voting that you just don't care. You're voting that, well, you're voting for the opposite of what you would have voted for had you voted. You got to consider that. It doesn't make any sense not to vote. It just doesn't. It doesn't take that much effort to vote. And, so what? You stand in line for a few hours. I've done that. If you're older like me, might be able to vote from home, but you got to stand up and demand rights like that. So call your congressman. Tell them that we will not stand for an oligarchy. And that is just going too far here with Trump. 50-50. Oh my God, what does it take to wake people up? What does it take? He's tried to overthrow the government. It's been proven that he's, harmed women. He bragged about it and it was caught on tape. Remember that? And, and don't forget, it's the Republican Party who brought us this MAGA mess. And they really should be, it should be heavy on their conscience. We really need to Reagan was better and on immigration than this guy, I mean, it's really dumb. You've created a kind of form of slavery anyway. We stole land from Mexico, okay, in a war. Countries do that. And then you penalize the people who were living there, even the ones who agreed to go along with us. And now when they come up from Mexico to work, they're illegal. Are you kidding me? Go put yourself in a total neutral position as a higher power. Take a good look at that. What do you think? Right or wrong? Wrong. So, they come up and they work. Okay, you're getting a really good deal because they're working cheap, aren't they? They don't get any benefits like the rest of the citizens do, which means they're paying into the system that way. And then to help the economy and to help the citizens, you kick them out, and which could kill some of the businesses. You kill them. I mean, they depend on that labor. And we all do. We wouldn't have breakfast in the morning except for these brave souls that crossed a line in the sand that shouldn't have been there. Yeah? Okay, let's take a look at that. Oh, I didn't do it. Oh, it's a long time ago. Well, if I dropped a rock on your foot a year ago and you still suffering from that foot, and you go to sue me and I go, oh, that was a year ago. Oh, no, that doesn't work. I didn't do it. Yeah, you didn't, but your ancestors did. Our ancestor did that. We did. And because of that, we were unfairly benefited. Huh? Weren't we? Yes, we were. So, I mean, humanity's flawed. It's a mess. You can't rewrite history, but you could be at least a little compassionate toward one another, can't we? So, this is Intermind Communication signing off for now. Please subscribe, and I'll put a link to this video so you can see the whole thing in the description this video. And I hope that you will visit, subscribe there, and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, it means the world, and then to the team. We don't have a lot of time to be doing this, and I have more time. They don't have as much, obviously, because you're seeing my face way too much. Which, believe me, not my plan, but that's where it's been going. So anyway, we hope to improve that soon and try to get more of the subscribers onto Zoom calls so we can hear what you have to say. Because compassion really is important. Inner mind communication is how you talk to yourself. And we all talk to ourselves in our dreams and so many other ways. And make sure that you do it with love for yourself and for others. Till next time, you're not just in a world of wonder, you're part of it. You're precious. I don't care what you did in the past, how evil you were, or how good you were. You're important and you're worthy of love. And you're not worthy of power. This sick guy is, he shouldn't have power. The poor soul needs to be in a mental institution along with his supporters, some of them. Yeah. And get some treatment for him, and don't let him have power. You don't give power to somebody who's crazy, do you? Do you? Well, and maybe you're a little crazy too. Anyway, if they fool you once, shame on them. Maybe shame on them if they fool you twice. But the third time, oh my, see a psychiatrist. Anyway, so oh yeah, and we need health care, by the way. We need health care, mental health care, and physical health care, and everything else. Spiritual health is important, but everything else is there and necessary, and it's just a part of your health. Um, this channel's about spiritual health. What helps you with virtues, um, and that's empathy, but it has a big overlap into other profession perspectives, and yeah, all of these things depend on each other, really do. If I had a really bad toothache right now, I wouldn't be making this video. I'd be looking for some pills. So, we really need universal health care in this country. And, yeah. And you thought I was going to be finished. All right. I'm going to finish now. Had I talked too long? Put it in the comments. You never know. Maybe this old dog can change. Anyway, not my fault. I don't have any help here. No other places. Take care. Oh, if you're on Facebook, go to Intermind Communication Group and get to know me. I'll be there. I don't know if the other team members joined that yet. I just created it. Haven't pushed it. Anyway, if you go on there, I'll see you. And see whether we can arrange for a video on Facebook and post that to the channel. That is possible. You could ask any questions you have of me, and there any other team members about. Might be able to ask them. trying to build up the team. Would you like to join? Please subscribe. Yeah. And then, until next time, remember, story that you write is enjoyable in some way as a movie, no matter what. Maybe the supreme intelligence is enjoying the heck out of your story, but it'd be so much better story for you and for others if you were the hero of love in that story. Until next time.